Hey Corey, thanks a lot for your video and for all your videos, for bringing such a reasonable and reflective perspective to YouTube. Um, because, reason, whatever it is, it's not a given. It's not a fact about our human constitution. It's something that each of us as individuals has to achieve. And certainly part of achieving a rational, reasonable understanding of the world is gaining a new perspective on these ancient pre-modern myths that served an important role for earlier phases of humanity, but now no longer function adequately. And we've outgrown them, so to speak. And we're searching for new ways of accounting for, new ways of giving reasons for our own existence, how we came to be, and where we're supposed to go from here. But I think this tendency to try to explain human culture and human consciousness in terms merely of a Darwinian mechanism of variation under natural selection, I think this is misguided, and certainly Darwin was only trying to come up with a possible explanation for speciation, for the change in species over time. And more recently, Dawkins' idea of mimetic evolution has created this real upsurge of interest in evolutionary psychology, where there's an attempt to explain all human characteristics, all of our mental capacities, as merely the result of the increased survivability that they made available, or that they provided. But I think mere survivability, if that's the only goal of life, of the evolutionary process, then why would we not have life? Why would it not have remained at the level of single-celled bacteria? 3.8 billion years they've lived on this planet. But, in fact, we see something else in evolution. Aside from mere survivability, there is a tendency towards greater complexity. And with greater complexity comes a greater sense of interiority, greater sense of sentience and consciousness. And, I do agree with you, Corey, that there is a sharp break with the emergence of the human being. And, we could even place this historically with the development of the alphabet, which allowed us to gain access to a sense of conceptual reality, where we can so abstract from, the visual, physical world that we are immediately embedded in, and immediately think about that world using these phonetic signs. But I also think we've got to recognize some continuity between the human and the rest of the cosmos. I don't think that the human being is a freak accident. I think that the whole of cosmic evolution has a direction, and that direction is towards a greater revelation of intelligence through the complexification of a material form. When we try to figure out what reason really is, it's there's similar questions to what the logos is. And the Stoics certainly saw logos in a cosmic context, and I do too. It's not only in the human being that this logos is created. I would say it's logos that created the human being. And so, evolution isn't just this horizontal process of meaningless change, it has a direction. And I don't think one has to believe that this is so. Just look at the last 13.7 billion years of cosmic evolution and the last 3.8 billion years of earthly biological evolution, and you'll see the tendency. You'll see the trend. It doesn't require a metaphysical worldview to recognize this, what Teilhard called the law of complexity and consciousness, that evolution complexifies material form, and that material form gains an increased degree of interiority. And so when we talk about reason in the human being, when we talk about the soul, we can't attempt to explain it based on this horizontal, directionless evolutionary process. Evolution has a vertical component. And I want to close by reading a paragraph from Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay on the Oversoul. And I think when he talks about the soul, we could say it's similar to whatever it is in the human being that is reasonable, that is conscious, and is in touch with the Logos. All goes to show that the soul in man is not an organ, but animates and exercises all the organs. The soul is not a function, like the power of memory, of calculation, of comparison, but uses these as hands and feet. The soul is not a faculty, but a light. The soul is not the intellect or the will, but the master of the intellect and the will. The soul is the background of our being, in which they lie. An immensity not possessed, and that cannot be possessed. From within or from behind, a light shines through us upon things and makes us aware that we are nothing, but the light is all. Thanks for listening.